Andrews. Got this Andrews team out of the mountains coming from that direction, coming from the west, coming down here to us in the Piedmont. Seed number 9 versus seed number 8. Got a 1-9 versus a 1-18 College Prep Leadership Academy. Who wins that one?
I'm gonna go with McQuitty and Company at CPLA. Their first varsity season in history. They get their first playoff victory on Friday.
Going to be in a big win there. Wonder where they play that game at. Where are they going to play at? Going to play in Jamestown YMCA? Going to play at Ragsdale? Going to play at High Point Complex? Where are they playing the game at?
You know, I've got to confirm, but they usually play their home games at the High Point Athletic Complex, which should be available because High Point Christian has a bye week. So, again, I got to confirm that, but they play most of their home games over at the High Point Athletic Complex, and I think that should be available, but I got to confirm that.
Here we go, 2A Bishop McGuinness, 9-1. They got a bye week. How far do they go? They go pretty far, Bishop McGuinness?
I think they got a shot to go pretty far. They got a really nice passing game, and Avery McMullen, I think he's been a good hire for them, and they actually won their first conference title in history this past week, so they've got things rolling, and I think they're pretty happy with the replacement they had, the coaching replacement.
Gotta love that. How about the 4A team, High Point Andrews, number 7 seed, 8-2. They got a bye this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was over at their game against their old classic rival Central, and they won 72-0. I'll say this: they got away with a bunch of flags that I don't think that they get away with against a really good football team. But they've got some speed. They had a kid named Von Martin who ran wild, and I think when you get the ball in his hands, things can be dangerous. They got a quarterback named David Hill who
did he play last week, or did the other kid play last week? Did Zealous play or Hill play last week?
Hill played.
Hill was quarterback. Okay.
Yeah, Hill played. He threw the ball around the yard a little bit when they weren't running. Some of them were screen passes that his backs just ran wild with. I know Martin caught a swing pass that he took the distance to. The pass wasn't too difficult, but it definitely helped his yardage and completion percentage. And so we'll see what happens. I want to see Andrews against a tougher team. I know they've lost a couple times this year, playing against some better teams. So, we'll see what happens. But in a way, I think watching that Central game, I guess for me, it doesn't really. The way Central has struggled this year, it was a little bit hard for me to evaluate how good they are, or if they were just beating up on a team that just hasn't been very good this year.
It's this 5A bunch. You talked about these already. Northeast, number 2 seed. You feel like they're going to do pretty well.
Which team? I'm sorry.
Northeast Guilford, number 5 seed in this 5A East. Northeast Guilford.
No, they're actually number 2 seed now.
Yeah, number 2 seed in the 5A.
Maybe some numbers. Yeah, I mean they've got a pretty good defense. They've been strong. Dre Deese has been, week after week, he's been one of the most impressive players in this area, in my opinion. A transfer out of Dudley who came over, and their offense hasn't always been clicking, which I think that surprises me a little bit, honest truth. I thought their offense would probably kick it into gear by now, but we'll see what happens in the playoffs here. Can that offense develop? They've got a bye week too coming up, so they're off this week, and so I don't. We'll see what happens with that. They've also played a lot of 6A teams as well. So remember, the only losses they have are actually to higher classification teams and tough. They were both close games.
One of those to Dudley, and one of those to Northern Guilford.
Yeah, but 2 very close games. Northern 14-8, and the Dudley game 21-19. I know the Dudley game they scored, late in the game to, make it close or whatever. But they played them tough, and so I think that's encouraging. You would think that they'd have better luck against the 5A draw than, some of the 6A draws. So maybe that 5A 6A split conference thing is actually a good thing and over the long haul for Northeast.
You don't see Southern Guilford winning against West Rowan?
And no, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't.
Southern Guilford goes down. Northern Guilford's got a bye week. You've talked about them before. They should do well.
I told people before the season started, I said Northern is a team to watch out for, and they've rode through the schedule, and at times they've been tested. Some of those games may be closer than what they look like on paper in terms of, pre-game versus what happened in the end result, but they've managed to win. They've pulled out some gutty wins, and I think last week against Southeast, that might have been one of the most all-around good games I saw. I mean, I know that, on offense, they didn't have too many possessions, and, they had to capitalize, but I thought that might have been one of the most complete games I've seen out of them. And, if they can correct, some of those pieces, maybe, we'll see what happens against maybe the cream of the crop. But I'm actually really interested to see if they end up drawing Dudley in the later rounds, if that ends up being a possibility.
But you like Dudley against Glenn. You're picking Dudley there.
I'm going to pick Dudley against Glenn, yeah.
So Dudley takes Glenn. Central Cabarrus. I got Central Davis in my head. Central Cabarrus at Southeast, 4-6 versus 6-4. You like Southeast to bounce back and get the win there?
I do. I'm going to go with Bates and Southeast. I think, we talked about it a little bit earlier. They're not a perfect product, but they do certain things very well. They're a very disciplined football team. They might not have as much talent in certain areas as some other teams, but they're very disciplined. They don't make mistakes in terms of, foolish penalties or, boneheaded type plays, that sort of thing. So I think those are the types of things that give you a chance to win, even if maybe you're not, in the best position at every position per se.
Let's go to each teams pretty quick. You probably think about Western Guilford, Asheville. Western Guilford, tough time going to Asheville.
That's a long haul. I'm going to go Asheville.
Asheville. What about Rags Olympic? Another long haul there too. 3-7 going against 8-2. It's tough.
I'm going to go with Olympic.
Olympic there. How about Smith at Kings Mountain? I think Kings Mountain 6-4 probably got the edge against the 2-7.
I'm going to say Kings Mountain, but this game could be very competitive. I think this game could surprise some people.
Good deal. Thank you for that. I'm going to take a look at your work on the site. If I can get through that paywall, climb through that brick, I got to get in there. White Oak 4-6, and Eastern Guilford's 4-6. Eastern Guilford seems better than 4-16. I think Eastern Guilford in some ways could be better than last year's team, which had a better record. That's just me.
I like Eastern in terms of the opponent. Their big loss from last season. They've been consistently good, but they lost a lot on their D-line, and Eastern is strong running the football, maybe better than anything else they do. And for some reason, White Oak, I don't know why, but they've made a bunch of playoff games recently, but have not won any. I think Eastern's been there and done that a little bit more. I'll take Eastern.
Good call, good call, good call. Grimsley, 10-0. They got their quarterback back. You feel like these guys could go ahead and chalk it up, get another big title?
I think there's a shot. I think Grimsley, even with Brody Lowe, I think there was a chance for a title the way he's been playing. And I talked to Darryl Brown the other day, and he said, we feel like we have the top two quarterbacks in the state on our roster.
Got to go that way,
and, it'll be interesting to see what Faison looks like. And
it also begins to see what the first play call is when he comes back, the very first play call of the game when he does return. It'll be interesting, too. I expect it to be a run, probably something by Michael Williams. I don't think they'll throw the very first play he calls when he returns. Get him settled back in.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
He may send Caden Cato to the field house. You never know. Field house direction. So Grimsley looking good. 19 McDowell, 5-5, Page 7-3.
I like Page.
All right, Page to win that one. I hope to be at that game tomorrow night. Checking Page out. 8A Northwest at West Forsyth. You're leaning toward West Forsyth.
Leaning toward West. By the way, with Page, they're looking for their first playoff win since 2017. So a little history on that.
Back a little bit, yeah.
That's also the last time they've had a winning record. So maybe 2017 is a good number to think about for the Pirate Faces.
Interesting, too. Last time a winning record 8 years ago then.
This is actually the first home playoff game they've had since 2018, the year after that.
Wow.
So it's been a little while since the Pirates have hosted, and so I think that's some excitement for Page Nation.
Got to be for sure for the Pirates. And as we finish this up, I'll make sure I get to us in the videotape here, too. You always do a good job as we close out this evening here at the Teed Up Indoors on Battleground Football in Focus on Greensboro Sports Radio, and also the YouTube videos and videos at the website, getting this man a chance to get warmed up here. He's about ready as Bryany Roche is going to close out our program.
you know what those Eastern football players are right now?
Tell me about it.